观众朋友您好，欢迎您收看《生活》。今天为您介绍卡哇伊钢琴。在2月21号由美南新闻主办的第19届新年园游会上，现场中大奖的奖品是一台价值11000美元的卡哇伊钢琴。这台钢琴是由卡哇伊休斯顿分公司赞助的。卡哇伊钢琴是日本著名钢琴品牌，创立于1927年。创立者卡哇伊是日本钢琴设计的第一人，也是乐器行业最初被授予日本最高勋章蓝绶勋章的人。从此，卡哇伊作为高品质的钢琴制造商而闻名于世。卡哇伊因为选用严格挑选的材料，以及采用大音乐会级别调音师管理生产、手工制作，而列入世界最高品质的钢琴之列。历来超高级钢琴领域是被欧洲的传统品牌所独占，但卡哇伊亚洲钢琴第一次挑战了这个领域，此后得到世界各地的瞩目。2000年，卡哇伊刚打入美国市场时，被《洛杉矶时报》称为钢琴界的 Lexus。
My name is Evie Offord, and I'm the first general manager of the first corporate store for Kawai America. Kawai is probably the most technically advanced piano in the world. Their actions are made of carbon fiber as opposed to complete wood. And if you understand, wood contracts and expands, and so that affects how the action plays. With the carbon fiber, there's none of that. So the repetition is very, very, very fast.
The conventional wisdom has always been that the development of the piano stopped. So people assume that 300 years ago, the piano stopped developing, and Kawai does not feel that way. In fact, it's a family-owned business. We're in our third generation of family ownership. There's still a Kawai at the helm of the company. We build pianos, we build digital pianos, we don't make anything else. And ignoring the conventional wisdom that the piano had been developed as far as it could be. And that's when we started working with synthetic materials, and now in our actions, carbon fiber actions, which are radically better than analogous wood parts. There's no binding of or rubbing of adjacent moving wood parts. There's no swelling with changes in humidity. There's no breakage. There's no grain problems with perturbations in wood grain. It's faster. It's lighter. It's a better action.
卡哇伊的美国总部设在洛杉矶。2014年12月6号，卡哇伊休斯顿分公司 Grand Opening。2015年一开年，卡哇伊美国总裁 Mr. Mori 就从洛杉矶飞到休斯顿视察。他表示对休斯顿的市场很有信心。
Mr. Koichi Kawai is the founder of Kawai, and he established a company with ambition that Kawai would make world's best piano with the prices that people can afford. That's his ambition. And now Shigeru Kawai took over founder. Then current president is Mr. Hirotaka Kawai. So all three generations got the same ambition that we build the world's best piano with the people can afford. So all the Kawai's philosophy continued to the current years. So we are trying to provide the best piano to the people.
而卡哇伊休斯顿总经理艾伦女士则说，鉴于中国家庭较其他族裔更为重视儿童音乐素质教育，所以卡哇伊休斯顿分公司将会积极配合华人社区的活动，并且将赞助由美南新闻集团主办的2015年新春园游会一台价值11000美元的卡哇伊钢琴，并希望以此为契机，让更多的中国朋友认识卡哇伊钢琴。
As you know, there's a huge Asian market. Chinese, Vietnamese, now Indians are starting to buy more pianos because we have a lot of Indian people moving in because of the medical society and the IT. So it's a really very lucrative market right now. I mean, people here do buy pianos. The Asian community is huge, and the Asians they're their #1 buyers. So yes, the market here is huge, and I was here. And I asked Mr. Kawai that, and he said, because of you, because we knew your history. And I am committed to Kawai. I'm sure that, I could make more money somewhere else, selling something else, I don't know. But it was never about that for me. It was always about the commitment. I have been selling pianos about 25 years. I started in Philadelphia, where I was born and raised, and then I got recruited by different companies, and I went to Atlanta next, and that was when I first started selling Kawais. And I fell in love with the brand. I fell in love with the quality of the piano, and I fell in love with the company itself. The company may not be the largest, it may not be the wealthiest, but they are the nicest. There are people who care about their customers, about their relationships, and this business is truly a relationship business. It's different. I would hope that it's different when someone walks through our door. When they walk through our door, I'd like them to feel that this is a home, that we're a family, and we care about their individual needs, as opposed to just wanting to sell the piano real quick and getting them out. And I try to create that atmosphere for myself, for my salespeople, and I do think it makes a difference. And now I'm in my 5th year here in Houston, and I'm still with Kawai, and I'm still with Shigeru. We have everything. As a corporate store, I have one of everything. That's the advantage, and I can get anything very quickly. So it's not like, I can't get something. I can always get what they want. And now we're starting to carry even the stage pianos, the portable ones that they're famous for. And it's a wonderful experience to work with a company that is so willing to do what you ask. If I need something, they're there. If I have a question, they're there. They never have any attitude that they are superior. They are really with the people and among the people, and I admire that. I know that they don't want to ever put themselves in competition with the dealer. They have great respect for their dealers. Here in Houston, the dealer lost to the line, so there was no active dealer with Kawai. If there's an active dealer with Kawai, they're not going to open in that city. But we'll see. This is going to be our flagship store. So depending on how I do and how the store does, I think will determine whether they look at other markets or not. But again, they're never going to compete with their dealers. They have great respect for their dealers. I cannot sell to Dallas because there's a dealer, and I cannot sell to Austin. I can only sell who walks through my door, and if they live here in Houston. And vice versa. They can't sell to Houston. That's the respect that we have in geographical lines. So that way we're not in competition with anybody. What I have is a huge inventory, which a lot of dealers don't have because they're not factory direct, but I do have a huge inventory. And that's an advantage for the Houston people because they don't have to wait for a piano to be ordered or whatever. And that's a huge advantage. Always in a dealership, they have to be careful of how much they order. Are they going to order that? You get I have doubles of almost everything. And it's great. It's great to be able to pick up the phone and say, hey, I need, and they send. So it's great. Yeah. We have a very strong technical support. I have a great technician with Luis, and a very strong teacher base. My teachers are really very, they like Kawai, and they're very loyal to me, and I appreciate that. And we try, I work with designers, I work with teachers, and I try to, find out what it is that they need, what are their needs, what are their students' needs, and try to accommodate that. Yeah, we're going to open our own music school. We are, when we move to the big location, going to be very unique. There's no other piano dealer that has what we're going to have, and I'm excited about that. Basically, we're open to anything. We are open. Somebody brings us a suggestion, we'll try. We'll think about it. I'm very open to new ideas. I think the more you get out there and the more people know who you are and you have a relationship, this is a relationship-driven business. And you have to make those relationships. So we're trying real hard.
好，观众朋友，我们已经有很多朋友可能已经知道了，这个卡哇伊这个钢琴公司呢，为我们的园游会提供了一部钢琴，这台就是跟这个一模一样的型号的钢琴， 价值大概有11000块钱左右。哇，我们非常感谢这个Kawai公司对我们的赞助。Ivy,
Yes.
this is the one you're going to donate.
Yes, we are donating the standard professional 48-inch K300. And Mr. Kawai himself signed on the inside when he was here, so it's a very special
Wow.
piano.
And thank you very much for
You are
supporting
most welcome. It's our
us, and
pleasure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
边这位就是刚才弹琴小女孩 Chloe 的父亲。Hi, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Good. As Chloe's parent, tell us why you want her to learn piano?
One reason is I love the piano, and I never learned to play. My mom played a little bit, so I figured she could provide some music for our household, and I think it's a very good educational thing for her to do. Well, I started actually looking at pianos before I knew Chloe was going to play, about 3 years ago. And Evie was one of the first people I saw in the Kawais, and I've been all over the country as I traveled and looked at lots of pianos, and I've always liked the sound of the Kawai, and it's obviously very good quality, consistent quality. I've been known Evie for about 3 years now, and she's done a great job of taking care of us and on this, that get us a really good deal.
My name is Carrie Mccoy, and I am the regional sales manager for Kawai America. Different applications would require a different piano, and generally speaking, the first and foremost consideration is longer piano means more sound, more bass, more projection. The extreme, of course, would be a 9-foot concert grand. For most home applications, a 9-foot piano would be too much. For what we call a semi-concert grand is roughly 7 feet in length. When a piano is roughly 6 foot in length, we call it a parlor grand or a living room grand. This is a very popular piano as well. This is a baby grand. It's 5 feet in length. And when we measure a piano, we measure it across this axis, from the front of the piano to the back. Across this axis, any piano is going to be about the same because to accommodate the 88-note keyboard. So it's this way. And as the piano gets shorter, the bass strings get shorter, and so you lose some of the projection that as the piano gets longer, there's more projection, more sound, bigger sound. Case in point, here's the sound of this low E flat right here on a 6-foot piano. Here's the sound of that same low E flat on a 5-foot piano. Still a lovely sounding piano, but it's a shorter string, so it produces less the low frequencies. As you go up the register in the piano, you'll notice that on any piano, a 9-foot piano or a 5-foot piano, the strings are very short in the top end. So really, it's the low frequencies that are improved upon radically as the piano gets longer. And then the overall projection and loudness of the piano. The vertical pianos, the same rules apply, but instead of length, now it's height. As the piano gets taller, the strings are longer. So because of the orientation of the soundboard, on a grand piano is like this. The orientation of a soundboard on a vertical piano is like this, hence the name vertical piano or upright piano. This is a 48-inch, what we call a studio piano, a studio upright. Nice feature, this grand piano style music desk that's adjustable. Superior way of placing music than this is great for those that want it, but this is more, A, it's cosmetic, and B, it's better for placing the music. So different finishes. We've got mahogany polish over here, ebony polish over here. Ebony polish, of course, is still the most popular, definitely the most popular finish. Another K400. This is Ebony Satin. This is what we call a model K300, also a 48-inch in height piano. Definitely the most popular piano with Kawai, and this is the piano that most students have. Most students have, and in teaching studios as well. This would be the most popular piano. Generally speaking, that most teachers want their students to have a piano that's 48 inches in height, and I could tell you why, but the long answer, the short answer is that at 48 inches, the hammer shank, this part right here, is what we call a full-length hammer shank and not a compressed hammer shank. This is a hammer shank right here. And once that piano gets shorter, then they have to shorten the hammer shank a little bit, and it's called a compressed action, and it tends to feel a little bit different. So that's why generally teachers want their students to be playing on a 48-inch piano. This is actually a fully digital piano in a vertical piano cabinet. It also has a fully functioning soundboard on the back of the piano. It's not decorative, it's functional. I'll pull it out and show you. And what that does, that actually produces sound. The sound comes out through the sounding board. So this is our hybrid piano, and we call the CS10. This has been a very popular item for us as well. This is called a CS7. And it is very similar to this instrument here. We have what's called the grand feel action. It feels like a piano. And in fact, if I didn't show you this, you would not know. You would not know that you weren't playing a full grand piano action. The repetition is extremely good. It's very reliable, very even. It's a fantastic action. These are, by the way, what we call straight digital pianos. They don't produce rhythms and backgrounds. It's just they are made to be used as a piano. This piece right here is CP2, and the CP2, in addition to having all the functions that these other ones have, this one does produce rhythms and background sounds and hundreds of other sounds. So it's I've heard this instrument referred to as a creation station for those that want to compose music or are studying music theory or improvisation or whatever. This is a brilliant piece to have. Full recorder on board, the ability to produce music scores. Fantastic instrument.
My name is Luis Verduzco, and I'm about to start tuning this piano for a customer that recently bought this piano. So I'm gonna start by tuning this piano and go over, completely over it as far as regulation, voicing, tuning, to make sure that the piano is fully prepped before the piano goes out to the customer. Usually, a piano needs to be tuned every time a piano is moved or every time a piano is basically unboxed from the factory, because pianos don't arrive perfectly tuned, so they always need to be tuned. What I'm doing now, I'm using this temperament tuning felt to mute the side strings. Each note, each hammer hits 3 strings on the treble side, and basically by adding this mute felt, I will only get the center string ringing in order for me to tune 1 string at a time. I've been doing this for the last 26 years, and basically, yes, it requires a special training, because this is something that I guess is very critical as a job. We have to be able to have good hearing, to listen to the notes through tuning, the strings, and also we need to be able to do really fine alignments on a piano when we regulate the keys and the actions. So we get through an extensive training in order for us to achieve this type of work as piano technicians. Usually, the company provides 10 years of full warranty on every piano that they sell here at Kawai, and also they provide free tuning once the piano is delivered to their house. Usually a piano needs to be tuned every 6 months to a year, depending on the conditions of how the piano is played on a daily basis, and also depending on the climate control where the piano is going to be all set up. And Kawai is very particular in the way that they service their pianos. Every time a technician comes to the customer's house to tune the piano, the technician will not only tune the piano but will also go through every single actions and keys to ensure that everything is working properly. And also it's very important for the customer to always keep the climate control very constant, usually sometime between 75 to 80 degrees, I want to say, a constant temperature, to ensure that the piano will stay tuned much longer than it's supposed to be. As a technician for Kawai, I want to make sure that when I go out there and tune a piano for a customer, I will also go through the actions, making sure that all of the keys and the actions are right adjusted in order for the performance of the piano to be perfect. This is something that we have to do over and over to ensure that the piano will always stay in perfect conditions as far as tuning and regulation. Tuned basically a lot of Steinways, a lot of Yamahas, a lot of Kawai pianos. Kawai, they basically focus on making pianos only. They don't make anything else but pianos. So all of their focus and intentions are to make a better piano.
卡哇伊钢琴全球总裁 Mr. Kawai 和全美总裁 Mr. Mori 都很看好休斯顿的亚裔市场。休斯顿分公司刚刚开业不久，他们就纷纷来到休斯顿考察。目前担任卡哇伊株式会社全球总裁的 Mr. Kawai 河合弘隆先生是卡哇伊家族第3代传人。他于1989年接管公司，保持其祖父和父亲建立起来的优良传统。他坚信，对于卡哇伊家族，追求完美并不只是理想，更是一种义务。在他的领导下，投资几千万美元用于提高生产线的自动化程度。他的工作重点是致力于建立卡哇伊海外工厂，实行全球扩张。如今，超过70年历史的卡哇伊成为世界上最大的钢琴制造商之一。1月24号，卡哇伊株式会社全球总裁 Mr. Kawai 河合弘隆先生飞到新开张不久的卡哇伊休斯顿分公司视察。已经80多岁高龄的 Mr. Kawai 河合弘隆先生精神矍铄，在卡哇伊休斯顿总经理艾薇女士的陪同下，回答了许多记者的提问，并在即将捐给美南园游会的钢琴里签字。这台零售价为11000美元的钢琴的价值，因为 Mr. Kawai 这个珍贵的签名会增值不少。 Mr. 卡哇伊河合隆弘先生表示，卡哇伊对钢琴制造的高品质追求将会永恒不变。对于所有卡哇伊员工来说，最值得他们骄傲的不是工厂的规模，而是他们的信念，是追求卓越的企业精神。
アメリカでは我々は交流はしてませんでしたので、初めてのここで、なんて言うんですよ、ビジネスモデルとして、ピアノのショップをオープンさせていただくということにしました。はい。あくまでも卸として、私の会社ありますけれども、小売りのお店は持っておりませんでした。これが初めてです。代理店さんはたくさんおりますが、そのうちの、ここは一つになりますが、直営店は初めてです。我々も学校関係の販売というのは力を入れていきたいと思ってますし、教育関係の仕事にもっと勉強できればいいと思っています。
Welcome to Kawai Piano Gallery。
好了，这一期的生活节目就到这儿了，感谢您的收看，我们下周同一时间再见。